Many years ago, in the small town of Muea, there lived two young lovers named Inau and Besem. Inau was learning carpentry under a renowned woodworker and lived by himself in a small one-room house. He was an orphan, doing his best to hustle and make ends meet. Besem, on the other hand, stayed with her older sister, Ngum. Despite Inau having little, Besem loved him deeply. She believed that once he finished his training, he would open his own workshop and start making a name for himself. The two were madly in love, not caring about the opinions of others. However, Besem's older sister, Ngum, strongly disapproved of their relationship. She had warned Besem countless times to leave the poor boy alone and seek someone who was already successful and could provide for her. But Besem was stubborn, always fighting to be with Inau. Ngum had her own reasons for disapproval. She didn't want her little sister to repeat the same mistake she had made marrying a man with nothing and ending up struggling to survive. Ngum had suffered enough in her own marriage and couldn't stand the thought of Besem facing the same hardships. Deep down, she also hoped that when Besem married someone wealthy, she might benefit as well. There was one man in particular, a well-known rich businessman who had been courting Besem for months, but she kept turning him down. His name was Mola Bait. After trying everything he could to win Besem's heart with no success, he decided to speak to Ngum directly. "Auntie, I won't lie to you, I really like your sister. If she agrees to be with me, I will marry her immediately and take her to Buea. I want to give her a good life," he told Ngum. She was intrigued by the offer and promised him she would do everything in her power to convince her sister to accept him. That evening, when Besem returned from her errands in the market, Ngum called her aside. "You are my only sister, and I want things to be better for you. I can't sit by and watch you throw your future away for a love that has no guarantee. I've seen this before. Marriage isn't easy. When problems arise and a man cannot provide, regret will follow. Think carefully. Mola Bait is a good man. He has money, he has plans. Just give him a chance." Besem sighed and frowned. "Is this really what you want to say? I've already told you the love I have for Inau is not about money. I want to build something solid with him. Sister, please respect my decision. And who told you Inau will forever remain where he is now? I hear your advice, but I know what I want, so please spare me the advice," she said, walking away into the room angered and frustrated. Besem continued to secretly see Inau, despite all of Ngum's warnings, until something unexpected happened. Besem discovered that she was pregnant, and fear gripped her. She knew that Ngum would throw her out of the house if she found out. In a panic, she rushed straight to Inau and told him everything. Inau's face lit up with joy. "Wait, are you saying I'm going to be a father soon?" But before he could finish celebrating, Besem interrupted him. "Inau, do you even understand what I'm saying? I'm pregnant and not yet married. My sister will disown me if she finds out, and as you see, I am literally broke as you are. You know she's never liked you." But Inau wasn't about to let anything spoil the joy of becoming a father. He grabbed her hands and said firmly, "Don't worry, Besem, I'll go see your family. I'll pay your bride price and marry you the right way." Besem looked at Inau as if he were joking. "Are you serious? Where will you get the money? You can barely feed yourself and you want to marry me. Inau, please, we need to think of something first. I'm scared. My sister will not take it easy on me." But Inau still insisted that he would come and pay her bride price. He told Besem that he had been saving some money, and that in a month's time he would be ready to marry her properly. Besem was relieved, and prayed that her pregnancy would not start to show before Inau came. She kept the pregnancy hidden from Ngum, who was still pestering her to accept Mola Bait. It was Besem's birthday, and she was excited to go to Inau's house to celebrate. She woke up early and dressed in her finest clothes. But as she stepped out of the house, she saw Mola Bait standing there, holding a big birthday cake and a bag full of presents. She was confused. How did he know it was her birthday? But when she turned back and saw Ngum smiling, it became clear that Ngum had told him, and maybe even encouraged him to bring all those things. To Mola Bait's shock, Besem became angry. She looked at him, hissed, and walked away. She wasn't going to allow his flashy gifts to stop her from celebrating her day with the love of her life. Mola Bait was embarrassed, but Ngum apologized to him, telling him not to be offended and that she would talk to Bessem. She collected the cake and gift bag from him. Bessem arrived at Inau's house excited, expecting he would have done something small to make her birthday special, but she was disappointed when he brought out a loaf of bread and a bottle of soft drink. "My love, happy birthday," Inau said. "This will be your last birthday as a single lady. Don't mind the loaf of bread. Let's just assume it's a cake and cut it with love." Bessem was embarrassed and shocked, but forced a smile to make things better. Inau fetched a cup and shared the drink between them. Bessem took her share quietly, but something had shifted in her heart. As Bessem walked back home, it was as if the scales had fallen from her eyes. She knew Inau didn't have money. How can she stay with someone like this? What if her baby or she got ill one day and he had no money? What will happen to her or the baby? Bessem's mind battled in thought while on her way home. She had expected him to at least be thoughtful and make a special effort for her just once. He had said he was saving money, so taking a little to buy a small cake or a meaningful gift wouldn't have hurt. When she got home and saw the birthday cake Mola Bait had brought earlier, she just stood there, silently wishing it had been from Inau. Ngum walked in and saw her staring at the cake. Guessing that Bessem was interested, she quickly brought out the rest of Mola Bait's gifts. "Come and see, let's sit down. Look at this beautiful shoe. Oh, this would match this gown perfectly. And this handbag too. Oh, it's so classy." Ngum went on excitedly, showing off all the gifts. Bessem couldn't hold back anymore. She was moved by the gifts, and her frustration poured out. "Sister, you won't believe what Inau gave me, a loaf of bread and a bottle of soft drink." I felt so embarrassed. After all these years, he still could not do something thoughtful for me. Bessem smiled sadly. Ngum looked at her and said, "You know I told you that boy is good for nothing. Nothing good can come from him. Staying with him means you want to suffer, but you are so blind in love you prefer to suffer with him." Bessem quickly said, "Sister, I don't think I can continue again. This is the height of it. It's just that I don't know if Bait would still want me. He must be very angry with me now." Ngum assured her that Bait was not like that. He loved her and would not hold any grudge. Bessem was happy, but then she remembered something and her mood changed. Ngum noticed and asked her what it was. Bessem was scared but told her anyway. "I am pregnant for Inau." Ngum was shocked. "You are what? Why? I warned you. Why would you allow him get you pregnant?" Bessem was sad too. "He said he was going to marry me." Ngum laughed mockingly. "He said he will marry you and you believed him? You have really been stupid for this boy. Anyway, that is not a problem. If you accept to marry Bait, I will help you take care of this pregnancy." Bessem was curious. "Sister, I will marry him, but what are we going to do about the pregnancy?" Ngum smiled and told her not to worry, then left the house. She came back 30 minutes later with a liquid medicine and told Bessem to drink it. "Don't worry, once you take this medicine it will flush everything away. Just drink it and go into your room." Bessem took the medicine and 1 hour later, she felt a sharp pain in her stomach and later had a miscarriage. Ngum told her to go and break up with Inau. Bessem agreed and went to see Inau. He was happy to see her, but he noticed her mood and asked what the matter was. Bessem told him that she had had a miscarriage and lost the pregnancy. Inau was shocked and refused to believe her. "How is that even possible? You were here yesterday and you didn't complain of any pain or discomfort. Please don't play games with me. That child means a lot to me." Bessem did not expect Inau to doubt her, and so she started to cry. "Inau, what do you mean? I had a miscarriage last night. I wanted this child too. It hurts me that the child is gone. Besides, even if I had shared my pains with you, what still have changed? There's no money, so please spare me all this." When Bessem saw that Inau was not convinced, she fell to the ground and started hitting her hand on the floor, swearing by heaven and earth. "I swear, Inau, I had a miscarriage, I lost the baby. If I am lying, let nothing good locate me. She even took the Bible on the table and swore with it. If I am lying, let all the curses in this Bible come upon me. I lost the pregnancy. I am no more pregnant. He now had to hold her and calm her down. It's okay, Bessem. I believe you, it's just that I was hurt. I'm sorry for doubting you. Bessem stood up, cleaned her eyes and told Inau, I can't do this anymore. We have lost the child that would have kept us together. I need you to understand my condition. I am no longer interested in this relationship. It was good while it lasted. Goodbye. I won't forgive myself in future if same thing happens to our next child. Bessem left, leaving Inau standing there dumbfounded. It felt like a dream. He pinched himself to be sure it was real. He was still trying to reconcile the fact that he had lost his unborn baby, only to lose the love of his life too. Bessem, please don't leave me. I can't lose you both on the same day. Please come back to me. Inau cried and cried. There was no one to console him. Bessem agreed to marry Bate, and he immediately arranged for the bride price to be paid in full and the marriage ceremony. He then took Bessem to Buea to live with him. Bate loved Bessem so much and never spared any opportunity to show her. Bessem too had gotten over Inau and started to develop feelings for her husband. She appreciated his genuine love for her. However, she had been feeling a sharp pain in her lower abdomen and went to the hospital. A scan was conducted on her, and it was discovered that she was pregnant. Apparently, she had been pregnant with twins and had lost only one. The second baby was still safe, but she needed medication to prevent further miscarriage. Bessem was shocked and couldn't believe her ears. She was glad she had gone alone so Bate would not find out her secret. That evening she told Bate that she was pregnant, and he was very happy. Months later Bessem gave birth to a baby boy, and when Ngum, her elder sister, came for Born House, Bessem confided in her that the child was not Bate's, but Inau's. Ngum was shocked. Shh, the walls have ears. That is impossible. You had the miscarriage, we both saw it. Bessem explained that the pregnancy was multiple and only one baby had been miscarried. Ngum understood and warned Bessem not to tell anyone else but to carry the secret to her grave. Bate named his son Tega and was very fond of him. Tega grew to be his father's pride, obedient and very smart. Bessem was glad that Bate loved him, and she knew she would have to take the secret to her grave. When Tega was 10 years old, Bessem fell ill. Bate tried his best, taking her from one hospital to another, but her sickness defied all treatment, and she finally died. Tega was devastated, and Bate was heartbroken. They had both lost a mother and a wife, and life was never the same. Bate arranged for her to be buried in the village, and the day for the burial was fixed. Inau had gone ahead to marry another woman, who had borne him 2 children, a son and a daughter. When he heard that Bessem had died, he was sad. They had been lovers before, and even though things did not go as planned, he cherished the time they spent and always wished her well. On the day of the burial, everyone was around. Bate, Tega, Ngum and her husband, and Inau also came. The burial rites were performed, and Bessem was buried in her husband's compound. Everyone went back home, and Bate and Tega slept in the compound that night. Little did they know that something strange was about to happen that would change their lives forever. The next morning Bate woke up before Tega and came out of the house but was frightened by what he saw. He wiped his eyes with his hands and opened them wide to be sure he was not hallucinating. He screamed, "Jesus!" and ran back into the house. By this time Tega had woken up and was surprised to see his father looking frightened. But Bate held on to Tega, preventing him from going outside, and quickly called Ngum on the phone to come over with her husband. Ngum and her husband rushed over, but the sight they met at the front of the compound almost gave them a heart attack. Ngum quickly climbed onto her husband's body and held him tight. They ran inside and saw Bate, who was already waiting for them. Ngum was panting in fear. "What happened? Please tell us we are dreaming." Bate was glad they had come. At least he would not have to deal with this alone. He explained, I woke up this morning and came out only to see that the coffin in which Bessem was kept and buried 6 feet below the ground had come up to the surface. What shocked me was that there was no sign of any ground being dug or any heap of sand. The ground was levelled as if it had not been dug at all. I was frightened and confused and decided to call you so you could see this with me. I don't know what to make of it. Ngum was dumbfounded. This had never been heard of. In fact, it was an abomination. How can someone who has been buried come out of the ground? Why must it be my sister? Oh God, what kind of problem is this? Ngum's husband suggested they call some men to dig the ground and bury Bessem back before the news would spread. They agreed, hired some men, and buried Bessem again. Ngum and her husband returned home, leaving Bate and Tega in the compound. However, the next morning Bate came out to the same occurrence again. Confused, he called Ngum again. "It has happened again," Bate said. Ngum and her husband rushed over. This time they told the men to dig the ground deeper to prevent reoccurrence, but unfortunately and mysteriously, the coffin came out again and was lying in state in front of the compound. At this point, Bate was fed up. What kind of problem is this? At first it was a strange illness. Now you have refused to rest in peace. Bessem, what did I do to you? How did I offend you? Did I do bad in marrying you? You stressed me so much before accepting to marry me, and now you are stressing me even in your death. Bate cried and lamented. Ngum had to take Tega with her to her house so as not to expose the little boy to the strange events. They decided to take Bessem to the mortuary pending when they would come up with a solution. Ngum suggested they call a pastor to pray over the body so she could rest in peace. They prayed, buried her back, but much to their disappointment the coffin was up again the next morning. They realized they were up against a powerful force. They took her body back to the mortuary and returned to the pastor. By this time news had spread all over the village of Muea that Bessem's body had refused to remain buried, and people were shocked. Some felt sorry for the family, while others pointed fingers at Bate, accusing him of using his wife for money ritual, and now her spirit was haunting him. When Enau heard the news, he was really bothered. He could not place anything as the cause and only extended his sympathy from afar. He could not go close to the family. He had never been welcomed anyway. When Bate and Ngum went back to the pastor, they prayed intensely, and he told them Bessem's spirit was restless because she had committed a grave offense. She had offended someone, and her spirit would not rest until the sin was uncovered and the mistake corrected. As they went back, Bate asked Ngum, "I don't understand what the pastor meant. What offense could Bessem have committed?" Ngum was silent as she pondered. "Wait, oh, don't tell me it is about... No, it can't be that. But if it is not that, then what else could it be?" Ngum thought all night, and concluded she would have to break the conspiracy of silence she had with Bessem. After all, Bessem was dead, so there was nothing to fear. Ngum told Bate that she had something to say, but Enau must be present. When Enau got the message that Ngum wanted to see him, he was surprised. Was it related to Bessem's restless spirit? He went anyway. Ngum faced the two men and apologized for all her sister had done knowingly and unknowingly. She then told them that Tega was Enau's son, as Bessem had been pregnant when she married Bate. The two men were shocked and speechless. Who could they lash out at? The culprit was dead. Enau could not hold back his tears. He had suspected Bessem was lying when she said she miscarried, but she insisted, and now look at the problem caused. Bate, on his part, could not imagine not being the father of his beloved son. Bate rushed back to the mortuary where Bessem's coffin was held. "Bessem, what crime did I commit by loving you? How can you do this to me? I gave you everything, my heart and soul, and you betrayed me without even blinking." He broke down and cried, hitting the coffin. On hitting it, he discovered blood oozing out from the casket. He got scared, and left Ngum did everything possible for Enau to follow them to the pastor so they could pray together for Bessem's spirit to rest. When they got to the pastor, he asked Enau if there was anything binding him and Bessem, something like an oath or promise. Enau tried to think but could not. "We did not take any oath apart from the promise of love we usually said to ourselves. It was not an oath. just emotional words. The pastor told them to embark on a 3-day fast and prayer for God to reveal the root cause of the problem. They returned after 3 days, and the pastor, having gotten a clear revelation, asked Inau if Bessem had sworn falsely to him. Inau thought for a while and remembered. That day in my room she came crying that she had a miscarriage. I did not believe her, and she took the Bible and swore that if I am lying, let nothing good locate me. After the final prayer, they buried her one last time, this time around in her father's compound. Bates swore to have nothing link him again to her. Days passed, weeks, and for the first time, Bessem's grave remained undisturbed. Peace had finally returned to the compound in Muea. Ngum took in Tega and helped him adjust with his new life. Inau, though still hurt, found solace in the fact that he now had a son, a living memory of the woman he once loved, but could only love him from afar. He already had a family he loved, and if he takes Tega in, he might face problems tomorrow. Bate, despite everything, left the village and later travelled abroad, where he finally settled down. Ngum would later go to her sister's grave and talk with her. All of this could have been avoided if we hadn't kept silent. If only I allowed you to settle for the man you love. If only I'd been honest from the beginning. Secrets are like fire, they burn deeper the longer they're hidden, and as time passes they consume you to ashes.